This is what led us to music. This is like our fourth video. Fourth video. We haven't introduced ourselves. I'm Brooks. I play bass in a band called Love, amongst a few other things. And this is Ryan. He is here. Noises come out of his mouth sometimes. Yeah. Pig squeals mainly. My great-grandmother was a traveling bluegrass musician. And I've told you this before because this is like the third time we've recorded this video because I messed up. I messed up some stupid technical stuff that would you wouldn't believe a person could forget and mess up. But I digress. Margie Roberts was her name, and her maiden name, I believe, was Margie Meyer. And they were the Meyer sisters. Yeah. And they would travel all around. They recorded stuff. I actually have a CD. I didn't have it today, but I'll show a video on screen of the actual CD that I still have. That's like my last memory of her and their sound and their music. And it's very traditional bluegrass, but sadly, they passed away on their way to a gig because they were traveling in a big bus with a bunch of gear, and they were in the tunnels of Tennessee. I think they're headed to Pigeon Forge or something like that. They crashed in one of the tunnels, and they had a lot of heavy gear in the back, and that gear made its way to the front, and that's all I'll say. I was actually a young child. My dad was picking me up from daycare, and he told me that it's Granny Margie passed away.
What a wild thing to hear.
I know.
Too. At such a young age.
Yeah, and I couldn't even process it or anything, but she most likely would have outlived my grandfather. My grandfather played music. Allegedly, he could play anything with strings. And my dad played, his brother played, my mom was on the drum line in high school. And It just kind of trickled down to me. When I was really little, I remember asking my dad to show me a couple chords and stuff like that. I remember songs I don't like Kiss. I think they suck. But I remember God of Thunder, the riff to God of Thunder. And I remember China Grove by the Doobie Brothers and hearing stuff just Long Train Running, I think, is the song by the Doobie Brothers. Oh. And I remember that. My dad loved that kind of stuff. And obviously, we're Southern, so Sweet Home Alabama was a big staple in our houses. And the riff to More Than a Feeling.
Oh my gosh. And Peace of Mind too.
Oh yeah. I grew up on stuff like that, and my dad showed me a couple chords. He showed me a power chord, and he showed me one or two things, and the rest is history. I kind of sort of taught myself after that. Speaking of family, my brother.
I didn't have a lot of family that was into music. My brother was really the only one that played an instrument, and he was the reason I got into any instrument at all. But I remember when we were younger, he picked me up from a vacation Bible school day, and we were in his truck, and he just had, I don't know if he just bought it or whatever. I think it had been out for a minute, but it was the first time I'd ever heard anything like it. But he played Meteora by Linkin Park in the car.
God.
And at this point, I'd really only listened to Toby Mac and DC to old Christian artists.
I remember booming out the stereo system. This goes out to everyone listening.
That the heaviest, the heaviest I think it may have gotten would have been
POD maybe,
probably, and not even at that point. But so he shows me Meteora by Linkin Park, and I was like, oh, this is sick, because the forward, the intro that happens, it leads into the next song.
I love that record so much.
It's so good, and every song kind of connects to the next. And it was the first time I'd ever heard anything like that, and the first time I'd ever heard anybody do that with their voice. And so that was kind of oh, this is cool. I didn't know really wanted to do music at that point, but I knew I was super interested in it.
Yeah.
And so then another instance with my brother in one of his cars, his friend made him a burnt disc, a CD, and they literally wrote on top of the CD art, it said, "This CD will save your life."
Yeah.
And it did. But it was literally just Norma Jean, Under Oath, Beloved, Alexis on Fire, just a bunch of really.
Is it Alex is on Fire or Alexis on Fire?
Alexis on Fire, Alex is on Fire. You let us know. I really don't know. I think it's Alexis on Fire, but I could be wrong.
I was introduced to that band through you, and they're awesome. But I loved City and Color before that.
City and Color's phenomenal.
Idea that they were connected like that.
Dallas Green is a phenomenal singer.
I still can't decide whether I like Hybrid Theory or Meteora more.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, because I was also introduced to those records at a young age, and it kind of led me to heavy music, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole that we could go down another day. But like, I can't decide which one I like more.
Yeah.
I don't know if I appreciate like the first time they did something, it was awesome,
Yeah.
or they refined it the second time.
They're both amazing.
They
in their
are
own
like
ways.
equally
Yeah.
tens to me, you know?
too,
And it's just
yeah.
like, what version of that do I like better? But speaking of like getting into heavier music and like band stuff, like tell me how that led to Euphony, because you've
Yeah.
told me about Euphony before and I don't really know a lot about it.
So yeah, Euphony was my first band that I started. I was in like, I was in 6th grade, and I think the guy that I met like at school, I was in like a very small private school, and he found out that I played drums and everything like that. After like used to play in the bass with my brother, and that's kind of how I learned. And I would just play the Under Oath songs or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I got
Those
decently
bands
good
missed
enough to
me.
yeah. But they're so good.
I know.
They have such a great. They have like
passed right by me. I
Yeah.
barely missed those.
like we
bands,
don't make
too.
music like that at all. But like without those bands, I just would have never probably made music. I joined this band with these 3 dudes, or just me and 2 other guys, and shout out Patrick and Zach. And we just started writing music together. And I remember the first song we ever wrote, or first 2 songs we ever wrote, the first one was called "My Body Is Failing," and then
Mine is now.
That's why he's bald.
Yeah, literally. I started at 22, by the way. Get a load of that.
But so yeah, we started writing and everything like that. The second one was like called "The Haunting" or something like that. Both were awful. And but those, like, I remember like after a certain point of being in the rooms with those guys, I just kind of started feeling like I wasn't like I was not at their level at
Yeah.
all. Like Zach is one of the best. Like even now, Zach is like we're not like close or anything like that anymore. But like he is genuinely like one of the best instrumentalists that I've ever met, and singers for that matter. But like, but he kind of like the way that he wrote music was super inspiring, and I was like watching him do that. I knew I wanted to do it too, and then but that kind of fell apart after some time because those guys were just like light years ahead of me, talent wise.
I say yeah, but I'm
He's
not.
like, yeah,
I'm like, yeah,
you suck now too.
You're awful. Like,
But
I say yeah, man, it's so relatable.
it is, yeah. I mean, and then it kind of. I ended up joining another horrible band after that. It was like this metalcore
Called
band.
a band called Love.
Yeah. I started this really awful band that I'm still in now, like 30 years later.
Yeah, that's so sick.
But yeah, so that happened, and I got kicked out of that band, and they ended up going off and doing their own thing, and they've always made great music, all those guys. But yeah, and then I kind of got into church, like playing churches and stuff like that a little later, and I kind of felt the same thing. But that instead of getting kicked out, that like it kind of forced me to get better.
Yeah,
you know?
that is so important. I've lived that as well. I started playing in churches, quote unquote, professionally in like 2016, March of 2016. We got back from PAX East, and which is in Boston. It was one of the best times and trips of my life. Shout out to Dylan. We had a great time there. So I've been doing this for about a decade now in total, and I'd been playing music for a decade prior to that. Like I started when I was like 11, and I played all the way up. I gained the chops, right? Like I could play some pretty complex stuff and some pretty hard songs, but like I got into the church world and I started doing that. And dude, playing in church and being a church musician will make you so much better.
Yeah,
Holy
truly.
crap. There's so many things that I didn't know. Some of the skills you pick up on are so important, like numbers. Like that changed everything for me, like transposing on the spot, playing a new set every week, staying consistent, playing consistently, like chemistry, gelling with a group of people, gelling with different people every
On the
week.
spot,
On the spot. And then you have to like listen to an MD, like the idea of an MD guiding you and listening to them and learning how they work, learning their tendencies and stuff like that. I am the musician I am today because I grew up playing in church.
Same.
And like
Yeah.
getting used to like playing to a click.
Exactly.
Like I think enough people in the world are good and they're technically good. And then you put them in a position, whether they're tracking or playing live, playing to a click, and they'll struggle. That is a skill you need enough times in a studio. You don't always need it. I'm not going to say always need it, but it is very good to have. And you don't think about stuff like that.
No, you don't, especially not when you're first starting too. But like, and the click was a big thing for me because growing up a drummer, when I first started playing to a click, I was like, I panicked. Like because I wasn't used to it. I remember showing up to the church and like they were excited to have me and everything because they thought I was a good drummer and everything. It's not that I wasn't, but like I didn't have those chops. I'd never done it before, and it was that and dynamics because I was also using. Huge. I also was like. I was just so used to playing stuff like Under Oath, which is essentially just balls to the wall the entire time. And so I'm just like laying on the drums, dude, when in sections that don't require that. And I'm like, I could see the worship leader getting frustrated with me. Like he would stomp his foot trying to get me on tempo to the click.
Yeah.
Or he would just like, it was such an awful morning. But like going through that experience and deciding to push through that and try to get better absolutely made me a better drummer. And then now that I'm leading like worship some on Sunday mornings, as far as like singing goes, like some of the learning a lot of what those singers do, run wise and everything, like doing their runs and stuff like that has been super helpful for me too. Just because like it's like I want to emulate what they're doing as best as I can to a degree. Even though I might not be able to sometimes, but
Sure. Like, I mean, I grew up in church, and we grew up in that world. I did at least. And like, I remember playing acoustic when I was like 15 years old and like trying to learn that for the first time. That was the first time I was ever put in a position to where it's like, okay, now you learn this and now here's the real deal. You get up on stage. Stage fright's another thing. Like I've never felt stage fright personally. Like I just never,
I've always felt comfortable. I still get it.
I've always felt comfortable on stage, not in an egotistical way, it just felt right, you know. But that's there's so many skills to learn when you do that. Speaking of church and growing up in like evangelical culture, Christian radio was huge to me. Yeah. Because that was like the only music I knew that existed. And I mean, I grew up pretty insular. I grew up in this like really small, tight bubble. And I just really didn't know what was out there in the world. I mean, I grew up in like rural North Georgia.
Sure.
You know, like there was nothing. I didn't know anything about anything. And there was no music scene. There was like, you know, I grew up with a friend of mine who was in a band called Under the Weather. And I loved that band. Grayson, I loved that band. And I still love you. It was so awesome. They were like one of the first people that I knew personally. Is like, oh, they're doing it. Yeah. And then shout out to Jaron Fish. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but he was a singer-songwriter guy, and I watched him in Clarksville, Georgia. And he was inspiring too. Like it was different. It wasn't like metalcore or whatever. It was like just singer-songwriter, acoustic, like alt-rockish, kind of folky, kind of like, and it was awesome. It was like, those are the two influences that I had locally that were like, oh, I can do that, you know? And then hearing 97 Won the River. That's like a local classic rock radio station. I heard it in like third grade in the gym. Our coach or PE teacher, whatever you want to call him, he wasn't really a coach. It's just whatever. That's just a word.
Go run.
He did tell us what to do a lot. He would play that in our gym. And that's the first time I heard of like, you know, Queen or like Styx, or I remember the like ELO. Like I still hate that song, Don't Bring Me Down. You know, don't bring me down. I hate that damn song. Oh my God, that's my least favorite song ever. It's so awful. But tangents aside, I was exposed to that kind of like, I remember Barracuda by heart just blew me away. And then you learn later that they did the it's like the harmonics. It was so awesome. Like, oh my God.
Discovering stuff, like discovering those sounds too for the first time.
And then like learning new music like that. Like, but first of all, it was like Christian radio. It was like Casting Crowns, Third Day, Mercy Me, Jars of Clay, stuff like that. Like that's the kind of stuff I remember here. Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Yeah, dude. Dive.
My God. I'm diving in, I'm going deep. End of my head, I want
I can't remember the lyrics.
Caught in the rush, lost in the flow. Ain't over my head, I wanna go. The river's deep,
Go sink,
the
go
river's wide, the river's water is alive.
So sink, go swim, I'm diving in. Yeah.
And that just like, that was all I knew. I didn't know anything else. And without that and those experiences, I don't think I would have become a musician in the way that you and I do it today.
Yeah.
And speaking of like influences like that, let's talk about like Guitar Hero and Rock Band and rhythm games. Like, dude, we grew up in such a sweet era because like those games introduced me to some of my favorite artists now, taught me how to play my instruments and made me better at my instruments.
Same. Yeah.
Like Rock Band taught me how to play drums. Like if you look at Rock Band, if you look at the structure of like, you know, you've got like the red, yellow, blue, and green, and they separate it visually for you in the kick, and then they separate those patterns for you. If you play on expert, like you transition that to a drum kit, practice a little bit, and you know how to play drums. Like I remember playing Tom Sawyer, the like I remember that pattern because of that. Also, it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest drum solo of all time.
Yeah.
But like I remember the pattern because it taught me that. Guitar Hero too, like holy crap, Guitar Hero, it would teach you how to play and not look at your hands because you just look at the screen. And like Cliffs of Dover was one of my favorite.
Oh my
songs
gosh,
to play.
I love that. That was one of my favorites too, dude.
Yeah,
I love
when you mess, dude.
Yeah, dude,
like,
it was so good.
Doing that on a Guitar Hero controller, like Guitar Hero, the original Guitar Hero controllers were awesome. Like the way they were like small enough you could like get around to it, like so well designed in my opinion. I hated the Rock Band guitars because they were so clunky. But if you could play a Rock Band.
Because it had
track.
Yeah.
Like I think Rock Band had better tracks overall, I think, based on my music taste, but Guitar Hero had the better hardware.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is you can actually like somehow, some way hook up one of those electric drum kits and route it, or somehow they make those to play Rock Band now on an actual kit. So if you just practice on that, that is an excellent way to practice.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I fell in love with those games. I played Rock Band some. We got it kind of late, but but it was so cool the amount of music you end up finding just from those games. Like I think a whole generation, like our whole generation basically found, you know, songs that we still listen to today on those games.
I discovered bands like Foo Fighters, and Weezer, and like Nine Inch Nails, and I remember Maps by the Yeah Yeahs.
Absolutely.
Like that song is so cool.
Beautiful.
And it's like really, I'd never heard anything like that.
Me too. That was the first time I'd heard that song
too. And then like some older songs, like I remember trying to play like what was it? Run to the Hills by Iron Maiden. The 4 like tom setup Rock Band drums, like they weren't super accurate. Mm-hmm. So whenever you had to do 16th notes, like that was like pulling teeth.
Oh yeah.
Then like trying to do, I remember Cherub Rock by Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
The like that, but it was hard because snare hits counted for like most of your points. Like you could miss some toms and cymbals, but if you're not playing the hi-hat and specifically the snare, I remember you could lose the whole song like immediately. Mm-hmm. And it's like if you miss a note, it goes down, and if you miss hit and overhit, it goes down too. Yeah. So like it really taught you rhythm is important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And rhythm holds the whole thing. And you see, it's like all these little connections you make just from these rhythm games. I've been Brooks. This has been Ryan. These are some of the few things that like got us into music and made us musicians and kept us in the music world. It's a miracle we haven't stopped doing
Seriously,
this.
yeah, it is.
Like, it's very hard, but it's super rewarding. Rewarding, super warding is what I'm trying to say. It's super warding. I'm trying to keep him away from me. I have to keep him like a cushion away from me at all times. I'm warding. Don't you come over here. You stay over there, Ryan. Stay over there, Ryan.